it's Lakers. So it's Lakers, Houston.
Oh,
Houston at 2.
oh,
Oh, you're out of your mind.
They're
You're
still
out of your
taking
mind.
Russ.
your mind. The
They still got
problem,
Russ, don't
Jerry,
They
Jerry,
still got Russ, don't they? What's up, everybody? This is the Targeting Podcast. I'm Jerry. Boys, just introduce yourselves.
I'm Justin. I'm hyped to be here with you boys. This is a long time coming. Let's go.
Definitely.
John in the house, ready to discuss with you whatever you want.
last but not least, Damon Burke.
Last but not least,
We're just a couple boys from Boston, Massachusetts. We're here to talk about sports, anything and everything sports. All four of us go to separate colleges, so this is just going to be kind of our way to communicate with each other and just to kind of a good time. This is just a good time. So
Exactly, man.
start off, we're going to probably, since the NBA season just finished, we're going to talk about basketball predictions for the following NBA season. So let's start seeding-wise. Let's start with the East. So what are our thoughts on that 1 seed? Do we think it's going to be Bucks? Do we think it's Celtics are going to take it home?
Man, I mean, it's crazy how good a year next season could be with just all the teams that are competing. Like how good a year this was, but with the Warriors and the Durant, Irving, and the Nets coming back, it's going to be a crazy year. I don't know, for that 1 seed in the East, I'd love to say Boston, but Giannis is so dominant in the regular season. I bet the Bucks probably take it, but I would not take the Bucks coming out of the East in the playoffs. But that's a whole different thing. So I'd say the Bucks grab that 1 seed. Are
you saying you think Giannis is going to be on the Bucks next year?
yeah, that's what I'm getting at. And in a second, I don't know what we're doing here with him unfriending everyone on Instagram, and
I don't think he's going to be on the Bucks next season. I don't know necessarily what he's going to do, but I don't think he's going to be on the Bucks next season. I think he's personally trying to look for a ring now, especially since his brother's got one.
I think the Heat are going to make a grab for Giannis.
You think
the Heat and the Raptors?
I think teams like the Heat, Raptors are going to make a grab for Giannis. Whether he accepts or not, I don't know. If he leaves, then I'm full on board with Justin saying Bucks. And then I'm probably tossing in the Celtics at the 2 seed because they have a strong young core. I think they're going to come out strong in the season, and they're going to be a playoff contending team. But if Giannis is
none of us thought the Heat were going to even be in it this year. So what's to say the Celtics can't make it?
Yeah, exactly.
I think the Celtics next year, but I don't know. This postseason was a little disappointing for me in terms of if I don't know how well the Kemba, Jalen, and Jason is gonna
make them hungry though. It's got to make them hungry.
But it didn't work though. I feel like
it did though. It did. It's just about finding the right guys to go around them.
It didn't work though. Because all right, here's why it didn't work. Because Kemba, right? You put them, all three of them, on a team where you thought that they could equally share the ball, but that wasn't the case. Kemba froze up, and Tatum and Brown had to have 20, 25 plus points a night, and then you're at a place where you face a team like the Heat where the ball can go around, and then it's a GG from there. You can't beat a team like that.
When Kemba doesn't play the game as he's being paid to play, then it forces Tatum to come out stronger and Smart to come out stronger. And the problem with that is when Tatum had that bad game where he scored no points in the first half or
Yeah, but then he had 28 in the second half.
Right.
Yeah,
I know what you're saying, and Kemba played a pretty good game there, but again, like you need Kemba to play strong in the first half to counteract that, and then I need Tatum to finish stronger if Kemba, you know what I'm saying? Like it's got to be a balance with that.
We just have a lot of talent. They just need to manage it. If they can manage it, I don't see why the Celtics couldn't be the 1 seed next year.
We also forget that the Heat are in this whole entire Eastern. I keep forgetting that, and they.
Well, if Giannis is going to the Heat, though, Heat are going to have to give up some pieces. So I don't really – if Giannis does go to the Heat, I don't trust them being that same dominant power that –
But
for Giannis to go to the Heat or the Raptors or anywhere else besides Milwaukee, he'd have to walk into the office and say, I'm demanding a trade, which right now he's not doing because he still has 1 year left on his deal. And yes, if he walks in and demands a trade, yes, they'll move him at the deadline probably so they don't just lose him for nothing in free agency. but I think he is going to be a Buck next year. And I don't think at the time the trade deadline comes around, they're not going to have like a losing record or anything where Giannis is going to be like, I want out. So the fact that he hasn't put in trade requests yet means that he probably won't.
Well,
he's eligible for a supermax in Milwaukee.
Probably giving that 1 year, but that's not that Milwaukee team's not a. It depends what he wants more, which we'll find out next year is money or a championship. But I think if my brother,
and it's also about what kind of pieces they put around him this free agency too, because they need another piece.
What other pieces do you put around
the Bucks are gonna? You think the Bucks are gonna be the 1 seed?
They have Bledsoe. They're not going to give up Bledsoe.
Yeah, the Bucks will be the 1 seed. If Giannis stays, the Bucks will be the 1 seed.
He's not good, but he's not good at all. But
he just consistently underperforms in the playoffs. They need to get rid of Eric.
I think we can all agree that the Bucks will get the 1 seed if Giannis stays, but they're not. They're going to get blown out of the water in the playoffs like they did this year. Something's going to happen. They're not going to make it, and Giannis is going to bitch and complain.
Win a championship, in my opinion, because it showed that like when a guy like Giannis goes down, they can't win. And if Chris Middleton doesn't put up a certain amount of points for you, that team that's not a good team.
Yeah.
I just don't see the Bucks winning a championship.
I don't think they win a championship with this particular roster, but I don't think that they start next season with this exact same roster. I don't think they do. It's just because they have to go all in on keeping Giannis in Milwaukee as a franchise. So they're not just going to sit here with the same roster they just got eliminated in the second round with. They're going to have to make moves. Otherwise, they're just going to lose Giannis. And I don't think they'll be willing to do that, obviously. But if they do just run it back with the same team, you guys might be right for sure. You definitely be right.
If they don't put good weapons around Giannis and strong players, that's going to lift them up more in the postseason. I think Giannis is going to walk, and he's going to – if he ever gets a ring, if he does, that ring is not going to be in Milwaukee if they don't get the right weapens for him and they underplay like they did this season. I think that's just if he even gets a ring, I don't know who he's going to get the ring with, but if he does, it's not with the Bucks.
I don't think Milwaukee's getting a ring.
I don't think Milwaukee gets a ring, and I'm gonna take it a step further. I don't think wherever Giannis goes after, he's gonna get a ring.
I think Giannis will get a ring, by the time his career ends.
By the time his career ends, sure, but what team he plays with right after, I don't know if that's gonna be the team. We don't know how many times he's gonna move around.
It's completely in Giannis's hands if he wants a ring. If he wants a ring, he can get one. He's just got to go on a good team. Not saying that you should be a snake like that, but he is completely in control of his career in terms of where he goes.
Yeah,
it's true. It's true.
Yeah, and then back to Boston. I think that you mentioned Kemba's not playing the way for the money he's getting paid. The fact that you mentioned getting paid is just you have to bring up Gordon Hayward. We have this monster big three with Kemba, Jalen, and Jason that I think will work. Hayward has 1 year left on his deal, whether we trade him or keep him, and he walks in free agency or whatever. It's an expiring deal. We will eventually put the right team around this big three, and this is a big three that can win a championship. I know Kemba didn't play great, but this is a big three that can win a championship. It is about putting the right pieces around.
We've had this discussion before. Gordon Hayward.
You think Gordon
Hayward? No, because Justin and I had this conversation before. I feel bad saying that Kemba's not playing for the money he's working with, but Kemba is at least putting in more effort than Gordon Hayward is. This man is a liability. I want him off the team. I'm serious right now. Gordon Hayward has done nothing in my opinion right now.
It's obviously unfortunate.
It's unfortunate for the injury.
For
the injury, it's the
ankle
injury.
was out of his shoe.
No. Listen to me.
What do you want him to
do? Look. If I have LeBron and LeBron gets injured and he's not going to play at his same capacity, why am I going to pay him on my team?
You didn't know that before. That's the risk you took.
I know. Yeah. So he came to Boston. He took the risk. He's played his best ability. We've seen what he can do now with the injury he had. He got injured again. He came back. He still wasn't doing well with his rebounds and putting up any layups. He did from what I thought he would. And now I think that I'll give him one more season, and after that, I'm done with him.
The real question, all right, fine. I'll agree with you on that. But the real question you have to ask is, at the beginning, when they gave Gordon Hayward that contract, was he worth the money that they gave him?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
You can't blame him on that.
He was. No. I'm not blaming him for that. It's an extenuating circumstance that came into the picture. He got injured, which it happens. That's when you're a team signing a player at that contract.
That's the risk you take.
It's the risk you take. I understand that. But now at this point, is he are you going to give him another contract after his final year?
Oh, no. Yeah, I'm not saying you will.
Right.
But then you're saying – so Justin's saying with the trio that we have now, that's a championship-winning team.
It is if you put the right pieces around him. We have Gordon. You go ahead, Dan. Sorry.
I think they're going to be the first team out of the East to win a championship. In
Next
the next
year?
few years. No, in the next few years. I think the West is pretty dominant, and we're going to get into that. But
That's
I think
a good point.
Boston
That's
is
a good
gonna be
point.
one-
I'll agree with Dame on that.
I
point.
agree.
I think they are going to be one of the teams that grabs a championship from the East because not many teams in the East are going to be getting a championship in the next couple of years. The West is
I
just
agree.
so dominant.
So that's why it's like it doesn't really matter if Gordon Hayward has this 1 year because nothing's really going to change in the next year. But going forward, he'll be gone.
Exactly. We're going to have our big three
Yeah.
under contract. So I agree. We don't need to win next season.
I just would like to get. I don't even know what we would get for Gordon Hayward at this point, if we could even at any point. But I would like to get something for him.
Well, I've said it 1,000
The
times
smallest
to you
thing.
guys, but first time here on the podcast, Miles Turner would just fit like a glove in Boston. But that's a whole
There's
different
no way
story.
we can get him like that.
You think that? I don't
Gordon
think they
Hayward
would ever.
for Miles Turner, you throw in like Jeremy Lamb or Doug McDermott to make the contracts work. We maybe give up a pick. We have 3 first-round picks that we don't need. We don't even have enough roster spots to bring in 3 new rookies.
So you're
That
thinking
would
we
be
give him? So
absolutely
you're thinking we
amazing.
give him a first round
We can
pick
get
and
rid
we
of
give
Grant
him
Williams.
We
Hayward
have
and maybe
pick
one,
14. We have pick 14, 26, and 30. We do not need all 3 first-round picks. We did this
I
last
say
year
give
with
him-
Romeo
I say
Langford,
give
Grant
him-
Williams, and Carson Edwards.
I say give him 14. Give him maybe
Give
one
him
of our
Hayward,
rookies.
and that's enough
And
for
Hayward.
Miles Turner, who's already said that he wants to leave
yeah.
Indiana. But
Hayward,
anyways, the
Hayward
only reason that
first
I
round.
say Gordon Hayward is the problem, not because he's a toxic player, but because his $35 million a year on the books means that we can't spend that money somewhere else to other players that could be doing
That's-
more. Not
yeah, I
because
don't
he
think
is
saying
particularly
that's a mistake.
toxic. It's just
That's
his
a
money.
I think Gordon Hayward is a perfect fit in Boston. I just don't think he is worth the contract we're giving him because I think that money should be going somewhere else because at this point
And when
we
his
want to get a
contract's up,
championship.
The
We wanna get a
organization, that's
championship.
not a team mistake. That's an organizational mistake.
It's just
it's not even a mistake. It's just, we paid him what we did because he was an all-star in Utah when we paid him,
Yeah.
and he got a horrible injury. And I respect everything he's done to try and come back. I really do. He's been a solid role player. He just isn't worth a max contract,
Jerry,
which is
I'm not
fine.
saying
And I'd even
that
be
the-
open to giving him like a $12 million deal or something when his contract's up because I like what he does for the team. But just for what we expect him to do, what we need him to do because of the money we're paying him,
That's fair.
he doesn't do it, and it's all right.
If he
I mean,
wants
that's
to
fine.
stay, I give him way less than what he's got in a 1 to 2 year deal. Whatever they
Obviously,
want
you're
to
not
give him.
giving him that $35 million that he had at the beginning. But
No. That's absurd. You're giving him, like Justin said, like 12 for however many years you want.
All right.
While
However they're
we're
gonna make
still
that.
just on our team of Boston, Damon, if you have anything else to add before we move on, go ahead. I know we've kind of been talking over you.
no problem. I echo what you said earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So then I guess do agree though. I think we're all, if Giannis stays in Milwaukee, I think 1 and 2 will be Milwaukee, Boston. But then I'll probably take the Nets third just because it's Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Unless I'm forgetting something. Yeah, it was the Raptors that were top 3 this year. So I'll take the Nets for sure as a third seed, I think.
I don't know if net. I mean, I don't know. The Nets. I taking them lower, but that is kind of biased to me.
I'd probably put
I agree.
Nets like where they are at. They finished 7 or 8.
I'd probably put them a little higher, like 4 or
I think
5.
you're gonna- we had this conversation before. I'm still agreeing with Justin here. I see that three.
I'd probably see
Really
It's
Nets
just
like
that's star power.
It doesn't even
Really
matter.
think AD and Kyrie are gonna. I mean,
It's
the
new. We'll see what happens. I mean, what else?
I think
Yeah.
a nice
Who do you
I
think's
think
gonna
a
be the three then?
guaranteed 7 or 6 spot
I
from
think
there.
should be the two.
Yeah.
Depends on how the Pacers play and how the 76ers play because those are 2 other teams that just have phenomenal, regular seasons.
I think the Raptors or Heat are gonna be 3. Probably Heat.
You think the Raps will still be there next year? As far as but by be there, I mean they'll be in the playoffs. I just mean like a top 3.
Right. I
don't
think
know.
Raps at
All right.
4. and
I
Heat at
think
5.
I think it goes Bucks, Celts, and then it goes the Heat, and then it goes.
You think so?
Yeah.
Actually, then
I
I'd
think
probably
the
put-
Rap. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I
I
echo
think
what
the Raps-
I echo
I
what
do
Dame
think the
said.
Raps drop a little bit.
Raptors are going to be a nice 4 or 5 seed.
Yeah, I
And
think the
then
Raps are gonna
Heat's
be.
going to be after that. I feel like Heat are going to fall off next year, but not terrible. But like,
Not terrible, but I somewhat would agree. I think as well as
Falling off?
Jimmy Butler played, Jimmy Butler, so much respect to what he did this offseason, but I mean this postseason rather. But I agree. I don't think he is as far as the regular season, 82 straight games goes, is a good enough number 1 option to get you a top 4 seed, home advantage type of seed. in the playoffs is a whole different story because he's an animal on individual nights. But just as far as a full regular season goes, I think the Heat will be a 5 or 6.
What about Hero,
Probably 5.
Robinson, Olynyk.
Yeah, I mean they're going to be good. They're going to be like a 5 seed. I'll put them at the 5 seed. I'll put the Raptors probably
Put 'em at
4.
That's what it is.
Who do you think? So you think it's going to be Nets at the 3 seed?
Yes.
I'll say Nets, Raptors, Heat as my 3, 4, 5.
The players have more experience. I mean, the Heat got kind of lucky in a way. I mean, they had a lot of skill, and you got to respect what they did, but I don't think they can match that next year. That's
KD and Kyrie, and then who else you got on the Nets?
Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, Joe Harris, Jared Allen, DeAndre Jordan. They got a. I mean, as far as depth goes, they're pretty deep. They didn't even have Kyrie or KD this year, and still were a playoff team with just their rotational pieces for next year, and are adding 2 superstars.
Sure.
So I think they'll be really good. But again, the playoffs are a whole different story, which we'll talk about in the future. But I don't think Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving win a ring. But that's different.
No, I don't think they're at all.
They'll probably be like a Bucks team, a strong regular season trash post.
Actually, if the Celtics don't win, the East, I think Nets do. Personally, I think they beat the Bucks.
Could be, definitely could be. Yeah, that'd be a great series.
If one piece falls out, you could have the Nets or someone take the East next year. Kind of.
Yeah, and then I just think they lose to whoever comes out of the West, though. If you ask me.
I think from all this we see that the East is going to be the most complicated to predict. The West, I think, is going to pretty much be.
Well, the West is going to. We'll get into that in a few minutes, but the West has like 14 out of the 15 teams in the West could make the playoffs. Maybe all 15. Actually,
I think I'm not saying the West is going to be. I mean, I think the West for the teams that like are looking like they'll make. Like I think you can all agree who the top 3 teams that'll make it are. Not necessarily putting them in order, but I think the Lakers, Clippers, and Nuggets are 3 just phenomenal teams that are totally
all be in.
So do we want to get in West now, since we've kind of?
I guess you want to finish out. You want to finish out 6, 7, 8 in the East.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, I thought we got to those.
Yeah, we can.
No, all good.
I think.
So I guess Phil, we haven't talked about the 76ers yet. Actually, we haven't talked about the 76ers. They'll probably be in. You think like a 5 or a 6 or a 7?
I think a 5 or a 6.
I
think
maybe even.
I think they're really falling for me.
They really just can't get figure shit out.
I mean, good for them to have a new coach in Doc Rivers. That's big for them because Brett Brown didn't know what he was doing.
The one argument I hate from.
That's fair, but I think if since Doc is there, I forgot about that. Since Doc is there, then I think they'll be a good regular season team. I don't think they'll do anything in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo Jared.
So
I hate the argument too with the 76ers when I was talking to someone and they were like, "Oh yeah, well we didn't have Ben Simmons." I just don't think Ben Simmons would have done that much more. I'm sorry. Maybe they get one game on the Celtics, but he's not a 3-point shooter. Embiid still struggled.
Embiid is not a 3-point shooter.
And he's not a 3-point
in the block. And Ben Simmons, in my opinion, shouldn't be a point guard. He should be like what LeBron is to the Lakers, where he'll bring up the ball, but by no means is the point guard on that team.
The problem, though, with Ben Simmons, too, is that he is not a point guard, but he needs to play at the level of that because him and Embiid cannot be both exchanging going into the paint. You need him out on the edge, on the arc, taking deep shots.
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Embiid's a threat in the paint. You need someone as a threat beyond that. And Ben Simmons should be that player. I feel like I talked about this with Justin or Damon before. He needs to be that player. I've seen him put in the work trying to be that player, but really should have been done from the start, and that's why they really just struggled. And then his injury, I mean, it didn't cost them anything from shooting from the arc.
Yeah.
And Embiid struggled in the paint. We just locked him up.
I think Doc will make him a good regular season team, but I love Doc, but I mean, we saw what the Clippers.
We saw what happened with the Clippers.
Yeah. It's just that with those two, with Embiid and Simmons, it is a big two that I think could work. It's just you need shooting around them. You need a lot of shooting around them. And they got rid of J.J. Redick last offseason and signed Tobias Harris and Al Horford to max contracts. Now they have 4 max players on their team. Really, none of them can shoot that well. Yeah. It's not it's not a great recipe for
See,
success.
their max 4 players are just great ball. They got great ball movement. Like, I think it was clear that they played very well, better than I would think without Ben Simmons, and also better than I would think without very many shooters. But it just goes to show that if you play a team like the Celtics, who's pretty dynamic, you can't go out there with no shooters and have, defense and expect to get a game off a team like the Celtics. Not that, we're biased in a way, but it just goes to show. I mean, look, they got spanked 4-0. They got,
The Celtics are the better team for sure.
The Celtics are a better team. I honestly thought it was going to go to a game 6.
Yeah, I did think they were going to get a few games.
Like, they're a team.
I thought so too. Even without Ben
Simmons. And I'm not
Simmons,
saying that the 76ers, they could have beat us. I'm not saying that they didn't have the potential to, but they are a team that if you're a person that's predicting these playoffs, they are supposed to get you 2 games at least.
Yeah.
The Celtics are that team too.
Yeah. Oh, it was really like they should have. They can't just get swept. You can't get swept. And
You can't
Embiid
get
said it
swept.
in one of his post-game interviews. That like, I don't want to sweep on my resume. That was like after game 2 or something, and it just kind of happened. But again, it was without Simmons, so that's a whole. It's hard to judge on that.
It's a whole argument.
Yeah.
I say that it wouldn't have been a huge difference. I don't think they would have got swept if they had Simmons, but I still don't think they would have won, even if they had Simmons, because they still don't have very many threats there on the arc.
Agreed.
Yeah. And then as far as 7 and 8 goes, probably Pacers will grab one of them, probably 7.
Yeah.
And then you got like the Wizards, the Hawks, the Magic always seem to sneak in, but that time might be over.
I think it's going to be
I don't really see
Wizards.
the Magic. I think the
I don't
Wizards
think it's
with
gonna
a
be
healthy
Wizards.
John Wall and Brad
Yeah,
Beal
I
could
think
definitely
the
snag an 8
Wizards
seed.
will get back in. Yeah, I think the Wizards will get back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the West, there's a lot to talk about with the West.
So for the West,
So, yeah, can I-
there's a lot to talk about. By comparison, though, if you guys have seen the stats, so this year for the playoffs, the top 6 teams for the East had a over 500 record, and then when the Nets had a below 500, so the Nets and Magic still made it in. It looks like the top 7, only the top 7 had over 500 record, but that 8, 9, 10, even 11 Spurs were all contenders to get in. And
that's
that's the thing
excluding
over
the
here in the
Warriors.
that's excluding a healthy Warriors team.
And we're thinking Zion in his full first year. Timberwolves with the full first year of D'Lo and Cat.
Yeah,
It's incredible. It's insane to think what the West is going to be like.
The West is.
I'm gonna just kick it off right away and I can't really. It's tough to predict who's gonna be the 1, 2, and 3, because the 3 teams there. I know the Lakers and the Clippers just have strong, deep rosters. We saw what happened with the Clippers. I made my prediction earlier to you boys that I thought the Clippers could make it, beat out the Lakers,
You all said
and
that.
that was an utter
Yeah.
failure, and I'm a little disappointed in that.
I think Clips are a 3 seed.
I think Clips are probably a 3. I think Nuggets are going to bump up to 2.
I think-
They really proved, the Nuggets, that they were a team that can contend for a nice Western Conference
I
final.
think the one's gonna be.
I think
I think Lakers.
the Lakers. Yeah, I think.
I think the one is still going to be the Lakers. I think the Lakers are turning into that Warriors team. They're going to sit up there for a little while. I don't know if
I
they're going to
think
win.
maybe just one more year. I think maybe just next year because LeBron's aging. I mean, maybe LeBron
Well,
has
right.
still many more years.
I
left,
give him
but
2
as
years
far as-
tops. I
think it's one.
I give the Lakers 2 years tops.
I think it's.
Yeah.
I think one's the Lakers. I would say the Clippers get that too, but the Clippers don't really play regular season basketball. They play well enough to get in the playoffs, but as far as
awful lot of load management too.
load
So,
management, so
It's tough having such a deep roster. It really is.
I don't think I think they'll get to like the 3. I think for the 2, I think it's I want to say Warriors, but I don't know.
Hey, I'm with you, man.
You think the
I'm with
Warriors?
you. I think top 4, whatever the order, because it's really separated by like 1 or 2 games. Whatever the order, I think it's going to be LA, Denver, and Golden State.
Yeah.
Are going to be the top 4.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I would
You don't
say
think Houston gets in the top 4?
But I don't think I couldn't even tell you who's going to be the number 1 out of that. I don't necessarily think the Lakers are going to be the number 1, but I think they're going to go very deep in playoffs.
I feel like
Yeah.
it's going to be
I feel like Denver is only a team that does well when they have a fire lit under their ass. And if they don't have that fire, then they're not going to – they'll get in the playoffs, don't get me wrong. But they're not going to –
They've been a top seed for like 3 straight years now, though, man.
I
They are good.
think I'm
Actually,
gonna go.
that might not be true. Maybe just 2, but
I'm gonna look at it as I'd say Lakers, Nuggets. I forgot completely about the Warriors. They're gonna be getting some people back. They're gonna be a little stronger. I'll give them a 3 or a 4 seed, and then I'll reverse the other one, whichever one they get, with the Clippers. The only reason that I'm putting the Clippers near them is just because the Warriors are coming from last place. It's not easy going from last place to first. I mean, Justin, I'm not going to go off on a tangent about NHL with St. Louis Blues, but we'll get there at some point. But
oh my God, at some point we'll talk about that. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if – so the Warriors only have – so they still have Steph and Clay, right?
So what they'll be running is Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Draymond, and then like Marquise Chriss or Kevon Looney. But they have the 2nd overall pick, which could end up being James Wiseman, or they could move that pick for a star, or move the pick for a role player and trade down to like the 8th pick or something. If the Knicks were trying to trade out for like a LaMelo, whatever the Warriors end up doing with that 2nd pick, they're in such good shape. Even if they take James Wiseman, he fits like a glove in that starting 5.
You think that – all right, fine. But do you think James –
You think Warriors 1 seed, Damon?
I'll take, yep. I think they'll have a good regular season, but I still think the Lakers are going to clutch up in the playoffs because LeBron does that.
I'm gonna still stick with the Lakers in the first. I think I'm still stick with the Lakers in the 1 seed just for this season. I think Warriors will definitely be.
I think even with Steph and
top
Clay,
3.
that's not a dominant – in the East, that's probably a 1 seed, Steph and Clay. But the West, they don't have anybody else. James Wiseman, I don't think is going to produce right away. I don't think he's going to produce right away. So if you don't have him producing right away, you only have Steph and Clay to guard. And don't get me wrong, Steph and Clay are one of the best shooters in the league. So, but that's
you got Wiggs there. You got Wiggs. I think Wiggs might have a comeback here. Although we've been saying that for 5 years now. But I get that.
And I think if you only have to guard Curry and Clay. So if you only have to guard Curry and Clay, points are going to be hard to come by. And I just don't think. I
think that their bench unit will be pretty nice, though, despite that they got whooped all season. Their bench unit had a full season worth of experience just in the starting lineup. Like they started like Kai Bowman, Jordan Poole, all these guys that have a bunch of experience as far as just NBA play goes now, and will be coming off the bench next year as role players. I'm not saying they're anything great or anything special, but I mean, I think they'll be solid. And I don't know. I think Steph's gonna have like an MVP type year. I know like that. I thought that this year too, and then he got doubled every single possession, and it didn't work out for him. But with Clay back too, and Wiggs and Draymond, I don't know. They might have to.
I think they're definitely a top seed. I don't think they get 1. I think the Lakers still get 1. That LeBron.
Yeah, I just think they're like a top 4. LA, Denver, and Golden State. I'd say that's my top 4. Again, as Damon said, I don't know what order, but
I don't know. I agree with that.
Whole 4, it's just going to be I don't necessarily see the Lakers being the 1 seed.
I'll probably
but
go.
That's not to say they couldn't.
But you know what the tough thing is, Justin, by saying that with those top 4, is that now when you're looking at that 4, 5, 6 from last year, they're all got the same record. Rockets, Thunder, Jazz. That is.
I think the Thunder aren't. I think that was a pipe dream. I think that was a lucky. I love the Thunder, and I really, really wanted them to beat Houston. But I think that was just a –
based on what I want the standing to be is Jazz, Rockets. Jazz at 5, Rockets at 6. I think it's going to realistically probably be Rockets at 5.
At 5. I don't think Denver's a top 4 team.
So who's squeezing in the top 4 then?
So who are you squeezing in the top 4? You're bringing the Rockets?
So it's Lakers. Houston.
Houston at 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
No,
you're out of your mind.
You're out of your mind. The problem, Jerry,
they still got Russ, don't they? Wait a minute. They still got Russ, don't they? Russ.
What does that mean?
Yeah, sure. They're a good regular season team, but they're not a 2 seed. Like I'll give you 5 or 4 seeds.
They're not a playoff team. I don't think Russell Westbrook's that good, but Russ and Harden.
All right. Well, we all agree they're not a playoff team.
They are in the playoffs.
And I think
it's not the craziest thing.
Top 4, but I think it's
given how few games separate the seeds in the West.
They're getting upset first round.
No. I am saying
whatever the 7 seed is beating them. Whatever the 7 seed is beating them for sure.
Rockets are at 5. I would have
You're
Jazz
putting
at 6.
Houston at 5. Why are you putting Houston at 5?
Because
I'll barely give Houston 5. I'll give him a 6 or 7.
Jerry, let me explain, and Justin's probably gonna have the same thing. You already look at those top 4.
Who are you putting on top 4? Wait a minute. Let me hear your top 4.
You know my
mine?
top 4.
Anyone's top 4.
California
My top-
Nuggets. We all said that.
We all said it. LA. I mean, we're all a little different here. LA. I'd say Warriors, Nuggets, Clippers.
So you all think Denver's getting in that top 4?
Denver is 10 times better than Houston. I'm sorry.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're not. They only are good.
You only have on the Rockets. You only have.
You're
Wes
only good.
and Harden, and Wes is just not even that good in my opinion. And
You're
Harden
only
has
good
just been
when
the
you're-
same guy that's there.
When did they? What were the two series they won? What was the record? Like before they won it, before they went on their tangent, it was 3-1, and then they were like, "Oh, maybe we should start playing basketball," and then they won. Kudos to them, but I don't think that that's their mindset during the regular season. I think Jamal
It has been,
is
though.
good.
It has been. They've consistently had a higher seed than Houston the past 2 seasons.
What are you talking about?
The past 2 seasons, they've had
Okay,
a higher seed
all
than
right.
Houston.
So that was like by a game or 2?
I'm just saying
This
we're
season
talking
was
about
the game or-
standings.
What?
I'm just saying we're talking about standings.
All right, yeah, I know. But that was a game or 2.
I just think I don't know why you're so high on Houston, man. I think that they're going to have a down year. Like, there's talk about blowing it up. Mike D'Antoni's gone. Their GM is gone.
Okay, I know that, but they still
They're in a tough spot. They
don't-
don't have a center on the roster. And
I don't-
Russell Westbrook this is as much of a team could possibly be put together for Russell Westbrook, is where there are 0 centers on the floor, so the floor is so open for him to drive to the basket because he can't hit a 3 for his life.
I agree with you.
That's never going to happen again. They're going to have a center next year. They have to, because this didn't work.
Okay,
So if that didn't work for Russ, I don't know what would.
So they're keeping Harden and Russ is what you're telling me.
They're
And
going
they're
to, because
putting
they
it
can't
up.
trade Russ Westbrook's $48 million anyway.
Yeah, I agreed. Okay. So and you told me they're getting a center. And
I don't know who. I'm just saying they have to have a center next year because
Yeah,
of how
I know.
this experiment didn't
Obviously,
work.
the
You can't just
experiment
do that
didn't work.
back-to-back years.
So they're gonna get a new center. Okay, they're gonna have a coach that's actually gonna let him because D'Antoni's historically been a defensive coach. I'm pretty sure.
I mean,
I'd have to
he's
check.
like
that.
he's historically like a 7 seconds or less type of coach where he just run the floor and take threes only. No mid-range, no nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So if you put in a coach that's more offensive minded, and you give them a little more time to score, Harden and Russ are automatic scorers.
You put a center back on that floor, you're forcing Russ back outside to the arc, and that's not a good thing for anyone.
Russ is not enough shooter. Russ is just. I'm telling
They're
you,
going to be a
the
playoff
Rockets.
team. They're going to be a
The
playoff
Rockets
You know
will
they're
be
gonna
a
be a playoff
good team. The Rockets weren't the first play 3 since 2017, and they lost to Golden State 4-3 in the series. Okay,
I think they might have been a 2 seed that season, but that was
They
their
were
chance
one-
with
They were
Chris
the
Paul.
1 seed. They were the
They
1
were
seed.
the 1 seed, actually. You're right.
They were
you're
the 1
right,
seed in
actually.
the
You're right,
2017, 2018. They were the 1 seed, all right? I'll give
was
you
with Chris
that.
Paul.
They have a strong regular season, and they actually performed pretty good in that playoff. I just don't, but that's
You
not,
don't.
now
Okay,
you have
let me
Russ,
just
like Justin
explain
said.
something. I've never liked Houston. I wanted the Thunder to beat Houston, but all I'm trying to say to you guys is there's not much different between the team that was happened, the team that last year, and the team this year. They still have Harden. They still have Russ. They're just trying to get a new GM and a new coach. Now, I realize that doesn't always work right away, but if you get a decent GM, a decent head coach, you put in a good big man. I don't see
No,
why
but see,
they
look
can't
what
run
what
it
you
up.
just said. What you just said in your whole argument is that they're the exact same team. So they got 4th place this season. So how can you say that they're going to bump up to 2 over the Lakers, the Nuggets, the Warriors are going to come out strong, and the Clippers, who are still going to be a
They're gonna be
contender?
better than the Warriors.
I don't think. I think
For
they
sure.
could be a strong 5.
They're going to be
give
a
them
5
5.
team,
I'll give them
Jerry.
5.
They're not going to be – the Warriors are going to beat them out. The Warriors are going to come back stronger and beat them out.
The Warriors.
So you're
The
Jerry,
Rockets are the same
Jerry,
exact team. The Warriors are getting people back. They're getting that pick in the play in the fucking draft.
Let me put it this way, Jerry. Let me put it this way for all 3 of you. What's a better duo? Steph Curry and Clay
Steph
or
Curry and Clay.
Russ,
No one
or
is
Russ and
arguing
James
that.
Harden, or Russ and
No
James
one's
Harden, or
arguing
Russ and James
that.
Harden. All right, so then why are you flabbergasted at the fact that John just said Golden State's going to beat out Houston? It's just basically two duos and a bunch of surrounding cast. But Houston's
Look at the
surrounding cast
Warriors
is
bench.
horrible.
Look at the Warriors bench as opposed to the freaking
Who
Rockets.
is the third option on that Rockets team that you like better than
PJ
Andrew
Tucker,
Wiggins or
baby.
Draymond Green?
PJ
So you'll take
Tucker
PJ Tucker
is
PJ
gonna
and
Tucker.
guard
Eric Gordon
No.
instead of Wiggins and Draymond Green and
Eric Gordon?
whatever the second pick ends up being.
Jerry, I just think
Wiggins
The Warriors are a better team.
we need a button. Justin, we need a
button.
button. Justin, I
I
think we
know
vote that
Wiggins
we
is
need a
not that
button
good.
that just says bullshit and you just slap it because
I-
Jerry is just uttering
Look at-
bullshit out of his mouth
Look at
right now.
Look at,
Jerry, if I could
get-
right now, I would produce a slideshow for you proving to you that the Jazz would get the 5 spot
All right.
before the Houston
Hey.
Rockets.
all right.
Wait a
So
minute.
okay. No matter what. All the four of us have the same top 5 with different order. We have Houston. The three of us have Houston at 5. You have Houston at 2. Anyways, that's the top 5. Are you not done? Are you not done? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So Houston will be 3. Sorry, I forgot about the Clips. All right, the Clips will still be good. So it's gonna be Lakers, and then it's gonna be Clippers, and then it'll be Houston, and then it'll be Denver. Thank you.
And then Golden State at 5.
Actually, sorry, Golden State at 4, Denver at 5.
Yeah, see, here's the problem, Jerry, is you're thinking of every team individually right now. You're changing all your answers around because you're not thinking of the whole big fucking picture.
I wasn't thinking
You
about
can't just
But I was-
have one team win more games. That means that somebody else is losing them. That's the only thing.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
And I get that. I'm just saying. We'll see what happens. I mean, also we have free agency to come
Well, I
and stuff
think
too. The Rockets
I think
have
we
to
all
make
got
significant changes, but
I think we all
we
have
have
a
our top 5.
But real quick, because I think because we have to move on to other things too, and I don't want to sit too long on the West because the other ones are just so controversial. But I'm gonna say 6 is Jazz, and then
I agree. 6 is
That's just
Jazz
me.
for me too.
Thunder, Jerry. I will agree with you. Was a little bit out of the blue. It was
I think
like
Thunder are bounced.
I think Thunder missed just because of the other talent,
Yeah, I think Thunder bounced.
and I think Chris Paul might not even be on the Thunder next year.
Yeah, I think they bounce. I think it goes I think it goes Trailblazers and Mavs. I think it flips.
I can agree with that.
I'd probably say Jazz, Trailblazers.
Actually,
It hurts to think that the Suns are going to miss again. They probably are. Zion
Zion
in his first full year will miss. Ja in his first full year will miss. D'Lo in his first full year will miss. I'm not saying this is fact. I'm just saying this is what we're saying by saying it's Mavericks and Blazers again, which I think Dame will be in. Dame is going to get there. Dame is just a winner.
Dame gets.
So the Blazers and Jazz are going to be a 6 and 7.
Just chew on rail, so I don't think he lets that.
I know.
What about the Suns? You think the Suns will make it?
No.
I love the
I think-
Suns.
I
I
think
love
that
Devin
8
Booker. I
I think that 8 spot
Get
is
it
just
to
going to be
8.
between
This is their year.
Trailblazers and Grizzlies again.
You know what? I could see them at the 7 taking out your Rockets, Jerry.
Hey,
To get in.
The Rockets.
Honestly, if the Mavs are at 7
The Mavs.
and the Rockets are at 5, Jerry, or wherever you put them,
You guys are
the
doubting.
Mavs will beat the Rockets. I'm dead ass. I'm
James
dead
Harden.
ass.
You know I don't like the Rockets, but
I know that.
the Rockets
but
get
I don't
bounced
know
first
how you
round,
could
no
say
matter
that the
what seed
Rockets
they're.
would beat out the Mavs.
how can you say? All right.
given the talent of seed 1 through 8, no matter what they are or who they are,
Right.
I think the Rockets get bounced first round no matter what. If you ask
Yeah.
me.
It's
easy.
like,
All right.
Easy.
Okay. All right. We'll move on then, I guess, since no one.
okay.
Yeah.
So who's winning
All right.
NBA finals? Are we talking about that? Or
Oh, do we want to go finals discussion already?
I think we can save that. I think we can save that. This is just like a regular. This is just about the potential of the next regular season because we don't even know what's going to happen.
I'll be confident in my finals picks after free agency and the draft.
Yeah, I agree with that. I
I
agree with that.
don't think I can make a decision
That's
about that.
fair.
Unless you're really high on somebody you want to say, Dan.
no, I'm just saying I got it right this
Well, if you
season.
wanna, Dame, if you wanna talk about finals, then we can transition over to MLB if that's what you want.
Yeah,
You
we
wanna
gotta
just
go
close with
to
that.
the MLB. So
Dan, you want to take point on this, Dan?
Rays
Rays
Dodgers.
are pretty stacked. Rays are going to be pretty good. I mean, I thought the Dodgers were going to be in the finals from day one, but
Yeah.
Wait, so
As we're recording this, just for the viewers, the series is tied 1-1.
tied 1-1. Yeah, so
Right.
it's tied 1-1.
Rays won last game. So the Dodgers won the first one, Rays won the second.
I think
So
it's a little
I think
interesting that we're going to see another ring coming into either Tampa or to LA.
I think I think
I think it's going to be Dodgers in 7.
yeah, I think I was gonna say Dodgers in 6, but
Dodgers aren't losing, but the Rays put up a fight. and it's just whoever's
The Rays
hitting
have
that.
a great lineup. They've really put it together, especially with the Yankees. When I honestly thought that it was going to be Yankees over the Rays.
I think we all.
And the Rays,
But the Rays are almost
they're
like
all good. They're all good.
The Rays are
But
almost
I
like
just, I know.
the
You got to
score,
look at.
is scrappy,
You're
but
really looking at a Heat-Laker situation here, and the Rays are literally. It's actually it's Heat.
It could be in
You got
6,
Florida versus LA again.
right. But so the Rays, like Mookie Betts is the same price as the whole Rays lineup, basically.
How much is
I know.
Mookie paid a year?
27 something. I saw 27
For like
something.
13 seasons. And I'll tell you what, as a Boston guy, all 4 of us are obviously. He's worth every penny, and I wish we gave him every one of those pennies because I would take him for that 13 to
the
do.
Lakers are going to win. I mean, the Lakers, the Dodgers are going to win because Mookie's that clutch player who in Game 6, Game 7 is going to be.
He's going to make plays. He makes winning plays.
I think we're all in agreement. I think that the Dodgers are winning, and I want the Dodgers to win because I would love to see Mookie win another ring.
As a Red Sox guy, I hate the Dodgers, but I want to see Mookie win again.
Look.
Yeah.
I don't like the Dodgers. I'm a Red Sox guy. I'm pissed about this whole entire thing. I'm pissed about this whole entire thing, but Justin, at the end of the day, you have to tip your cap. Mookie is just an unbelievable player, and if I can see that man get another ring, I'm going to see him get another ring.
What are predictions for the series? What do we got? I got Dodgers in 6.
6 or 7, totally. I think
totally agree with you, 6 or 7. I'm just going to say 7 because I feel like it's going to be Dodgers 3-2, and the Rays are going to pull out a phenomenal Game 6.
Rays are going to.
Yeah, I agree. I'll go Dodgers in 7 as well.
I think Rays are going to win Game 3, maybe even Game 3 and 4, and then from there, Dodgers are just going to steamroll. I think
I think it's going to go 2. I think it's going to go 2-2. Dodgers are going to take the lead. Rays are going to come from behind, and then Dodgers are going to absolutely in the Game 7 spank them and make it look like the series should have never been 4-3.
Yeah,
I wish we could just have a good series. Like I like those close games, especially when it's not the Red Sox. I mean, actually, when it is the Red Sox, we like to see that too. But we want the win.
Yeah. All you can ask for is a good series.
Totally. And I mean, they're hitting well. They're all hitting well, and they're making good plays. So it's good ball. It's just the score is kind of up and down.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All good stuff.
Do you want to move to NFL or?
I think so because NHL will probably just make a separate podcast because you two are
Yeah. How long? What time is it? We should probably
just
wrap
to let
it up
everyone know
pretty
that's
soon,
watching this.
Well, we got
however
like
are.
10 more minutes.
Yeah, we'll put another 10 minutes into this for the NFL. Just want to let everybody know as a disclaimer, if you're a hockey fan and you want that, drop it wherever. If we figure that out, I don't know.
Drop it in the comments. Drop in the comments.
Drop it in the comments.
Hockey.
And Justin and I are getting a sideshow going on that because Gerard and Damon just don't know what the hell a hockey team is. They probably couldn't even list one besides the Bruins.
Whoa. We got the
It's not quite that extreme, but yeah.
No, it's not that extreme.
Wait.
No,
You got the Bruins. You got the Bruins. You got the Blues.
Oh boy, don't even try.
Wait a minute. You got the
You're gonna embarrass
Seattle
yourself.
Kraken.
This is
All right.
podcast
If
number
you guys
one.
don't,
All right.
Look,
Let me
my
just say
birthday
right now.
talks about this.
if
Jerry
you don't
has
get
got
me a Kraken sweatshirt, I'm gonna be disappointed.
Jerry
This
has
kid's
gotten
first
better
team
I
with
want a
hockey
Kraken
teams.
sweatshirt. What?
Hey, let me just say, I'll redeem myself. Jerry has gotten better with hockey teams. The kid's already going to buy a Seattle Kraken sweatshirt. 'Cause
I'm buying a Seattle Kraken sweatshirt.
And Damon over here is learning his hockey rules, so I'm proud of him for that.
Oh yeah.
Wait,
It's
Does anyone want to like get a
games.
Seattle Kraken sweatshirt? Kind of rep that.
No,
way?
because you know why? They're gonna freaking poach somebody from the Boston Bruins and every other team, just like the Vegas Golden Knights poached
I know.
Colin Miller from us.
I know. But do you have?
I
seen-
despise the idea of expansion.
Justin, save
seen
that,
the
save that,
logo?
because we're gonna talk
I've
about
seen
that.
the logo. I've seen the fucking logo. Yeah.
Logo.
It's cool. Great. It's cool.
Yeah, we'll be Kraken fans.
The logo.
I've seen the logo, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to cry when I see Sean Corrali wearing the logo on his chest.
All right,
or somebody like that.
don't
Buy a jersey.
Don't give it
Buy
away
a
because we're gonna
Kraken
talk about this,
Rally
bro.
jersey.
We'll talk
We
about
Yeah,
it.
we're going to talk about this. We'll do this.
We got to talk about the locks. We got to talk about who the Bruins are going to be locking in or who they should be.
Yeah, exactly. So
We had a-
we'll do that another time.
Yeah, but let's get
Good time frame for this one.
So, Le'Veon Bell is on the Chiefs now.
Yeah, he's making his debut this week.
So, what do we think about? Do we think the Chiefs are coming out of the AFC East? I mean, sorry, the AFC in general. You think they're
AFC in general.
Yeah, you think they're on?
It's funny. I've seen a lot of like memes of like Le'Veon Bell being the last stone for Thanos and stuff like that. There, just it's a GG, and it probably is. I think it was a GG before Le'Veon Bell. I think the Chiefs are the best team in the league, and it's clear. I don't think anyone's doubting that Mahomes is the best player in the league. I think they'll win again this year, and Mahomes signed that 12 or 13-year deal. I just, as a Tom Brady guy, I hope he doesn't break Tom's record of 6, but he definitely might. He's unbelievable. I think they do win again this year. I don't think there's anyone in the NFC that's going to challenge them.
What about
I think
Seahawks?
AFC
Seahawks are
East.
still undefeated.
The Seahawks. Sorry, you're right. The Seahawks. I was thinking of like the Bucks and the Packers, and I think they'll. But the Seahawks are really good.
I said it from the start. I think it's going to be Seattle Chiefs. I think AFC East right now is looking like a shit show.
Do we think Brady gets back to the Super Bowl? I think it's Seahawks.
Possible.
Seahawks Chiefs.
Last week, you guys see the Tampa Green Bay matchup? That was a crazy game, actually. Green Bay went up 10-0 because Green Bay was undefeated at the time.
Then they got
and then Tampa put up 38 unanswered and won 38-10. Ended up whooping the undefeated Packers. So Tom was looking good there, but they lost to the Bears the week before that. I don't know what to think about that.
Consistent right now with the Bucks. He's not consistent.
They're all everything's inconsistent in the East. So.
I'm thinking right now when you look at the AFC, I just Texans total bust from what I thought. Colts have a very strong I'm just going up from AFC South, but I think we all agree AFC South Titans are playing as an undefeated team, but I just don't think they're going to put anything up in the playoffs with the Chiefs already there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, if they face the Chiefs, I think they lose. But
Chiefs,
they are a pretty good team.
Beating,
I think they knock out some other teams.
I think they do knock out other teams.
But I agree. I think the Titans and the Steelers is a little bit of a false undefeated record there. I mean, not that they haven't earned it. They obviously have. It's just I don't know how threatening they actually are to, like, as far as being title contenders. I just don't really know. But
I think if you see the Steelers and Titans, they'll definitely beat out some teams. I don't know if they'll beat out a team like the Ravens. I don't know. I mean, they're not undefeated, but still, just because you have an undefeated status doesn't make you a better team.
Yeah, right.
And that kind of just goes to show with Chiefs. They're 5-1. Doesn't mean they're not.
I think they're going to be unstoppable with Le'Veon Bell. I think it will take. I honestly thought if any team could have beat them, it could have been. This is biased, but the Pats. But
and then you know what? I'm not selling on that yet because I think Cam Newton has a different MVP mode.
You can't lose to the Broncos, and you can't lose.
It was a terrible loss.
The thing is, they did only lose to the Seahawks on kind of like a. I mean, we were close to beating them. I mean,
it was a one score.
It was a one.
Now the Pats are 2-3. Now we're 2-3. Actually, it's the first time we've had a below 500 record since 2002. Man, that's crazy. R.I.P. to Tom Brady and the Patriot dynasty. But anyways, Cam Newton. All we got to do. We have an uphill battle into the playoffs now, and we're under 500. But if we can get there, we have a tough schedule too. Like our next couple weeks, I have it off my board here. Is Buffalo, San Francisco, and Baltimore are three of our next 4 matchups. Like that was tough games.
I was talking to my buddy Brock. Shout out to him. He's got a podcast going for NFL people as well. He knows a lot more than I do. But
gotta bring him on the show next week.
Yeah, we gotta definitely bring him on the show. This guy, I'll tell you right now, can tell you any score of any game for the Patriots up to 2007. You just got to give him the week.
Yeah, you were telling us about that. That's crazy.
And he'll definitely get on here and show you. No one will believe it because we're on a podcast. You can search it up, but he does do it. I've seen it in person. I assure you, he did it in person for me. But Brock and I were talking about the Pats' uphill battle right now, and honestly, I don't think they're going to beat Buffalo at Buffalo. And I think that if they lose to San Fran, they're done. If they beat San Fran and they lose to Ravens, then it's not looking great, but it's, we don't know what's going to happen.
It'll just be – it only takes 9 and 7. They added an extra team to the playoffs this year as like a new rule. So there's 7 teams that make it from the AFC instead of 6. I think 9 and 7 gets you to the playoffs. So if we can go 9 and 7, I think we'll be all right. And I think all we need to do is get to the playoffs, and Cam Newton will have this MVP mode that he can just ignite, and boom, we're going to be a tough team to eliminate in a 1-loss elimination playoff like the NFL is. What's up, Jerry?
That's the point, though. I think once I do agree with you on that. Like once we get to the playoffs, if we get to the playoffs, like I think the biggest thing in question right now is, are we going to be getting to the playoffs? And
yeah, it absolutely
another
is.
Another big thing to mention is if we do get to the playoffs and we have to play a team, I think we could beat out the Steelers. They're not looking like a super strong undefeated team, in my opinion. I mean, we'll have to see. The one team that I am scared about, because it already happened to us with the Titans, and Derrick Henry is an absolute beast.
Yeah,
And
man.
I just don't see us tackling that dude. That is the full reason the Titans are an undefeated team.
That man can't be stopped. So
he is unbelievable.
He's unbelievable. He's scoring. He's getting 100+ yards and 2 touchdowns in some of these games, or he should be.
I mean, this guy keeps on going with 9 guys hanging off his shoulders. Like,
right. There's no reason why the Titans shouldn't be putting up a huge fight against the Chiefs. Not that I don't think they would win, but Derrick Henry is just unstoppable. I honestly think at the rate it's looking, it's going to be Chiefs-Titans or Chiefs-Ravens, depending on how the seeding's going to go. I would love to see a Chiefs-Titans matchup. I would love to. I don't think they'll beat the Chiefs, but
yeah, I think the Titans.
That's probably.
Go ahead, Dan.
That's probably close to what I would say too. And I got a dip, but podcast been real for episode 1. I'll see you guys in podcast number 2. So.
Yeah. I guess we can wrap it up here too. But we'll be putting podcasts out every Sunday, and anyone else have anything to add?
I think NFC is pretty straightforward compared to the AFC. It's kind of like the West with the NBA. It's kind of tough to decide. You got so many great teams. The Bears are playing well. The Packers are playing well. The Bucks and Saints are just trading back and forth blows. The NFC East, complete shot. Eagles, Giants, Washington football team. God, sorry about your moms and dads who take offense to that. And the Cowboys, who are absolute utter shit show now with Dak gone. But I think I'm just going to wrap it up and just say Seahawks are probably going to take that one overall, no matter how strong those teams play. It's kind of a Chiefs situation there.
Yeah, I think overall, the Titans and Chiefs, I think that's my AFC East. I keep saying AFC East. That's my AFC prediction. I think Chiefs will come out of that one. I think the Chiefs are going all the way this year. I do think so.
Yeah,
I agree.
And I think for the NFC, I think it's going to be Seattle. And I would love to see Tom pull something off his last maybe playoff run before he's got to croak on the side, and eat some strawberries or whatever.
Definitely.
But I don't know if he hates strawberries. That's why I made that joke.
Okay. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him get another ring so he can kiss something else besides his son. But
I was just about to make a joke like that too.
Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah. But I think, again, the Packers, they lose to the Bucks, but that's still a close game, really. The Packers just kind of flunked in the beginning once they got that interception and that poor defense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's going to be a tough one in the NFC, who's going to be playing Seattle compared to the AFC. But we'll just have to see. Definitely. But I think on that note, we'll probably just wrap it up there. And
I'll wrap it up. Dame, feel free to go, Dame. I know you got to be somewhere.
No, it's been great first episode,
We'll be putting these out.
Up. Hopefully you guys can listen to some of it, if not all of what we have to say. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching.
Made it this far. You have to have liked something, so why don't you leave a like and subscribe?
Leave a like, subscribe. And we'll be putting these out like weekly. Justin said like every Sunday. We'll be putting them out Sundays, but we'll try to put new content. Again, this is just a way for us to kind of talk sports, and if you have anything you want us to
try to keep them shorter too. This is just the first one.
Yeah, this is the first one. We're kind of feeling it out.
If any of you guys want us to talk about anything sports related,
put it in the comments.
Leave it in the comments, and
anything. Yeah. Anything's fair game.
Anything.
Absolutely.
And if there's any critiques, anything else you want to see from us, I know it's strictly sports, but if there's something that you would like us to discuss,
we're humans.
We're humans. We're gonna make mistakes, but if there's something that you want to see more of, honestly, kind of hoping that something like a little side gig, Barstool kind of thing for us, but Barstool kind of has extended themselves outside of just sports in some aspects. But if that's what you want, just let us know. We'll discuss that.
We're here for you guys, and we're just looking.
All right, guys.
Exchange.
So
we'll talk.
It's been real. Peace.
Later, boys.
Peace out.